जी प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। ओके, so canto 7 chapter 1 verse 24. हिंसा तत्तपिबानेन दण्डपारुष्ययोर्यथा वैषम्यम् इह भूतानाम् ममाहम् इति पार्थिवा. My dear king, the conditioned soul, being in the bodily conception of life, considers his body to be his self and considers everything in relationship with the body to be his. Because he has this wrong conception of life, he is subjected to dualities like praise and chastisement. So these dualities exist for a conditioned soul who is in the bodily conception of life, who considers his body to be his self. Seems so difficult to separate this, isn't it? We are attached, we are married to this temporary vehicle. So we cannot actually understand this also many a times. We cannot understand this. Lord has created it in such a way that pain and pleasures of the body are experienced. And even, okay, first we are in ignorance, then we come to knowledge saying that, okay, this body is not me. But still, because the happiness and distress connected to the body and everything in relationship with the body is experienced, but is experienced by whom? Actually, it's just in the mind. Okay, then somebody might say, okay, then there is pain. I have pain in the leg. Yes, so there is pain in the in in something which is actually dead. The body is dead. So there is some pain there, which means what? There is some sensation of pain. Matra sparsha. So that sensation of pain, because I'm experiencing that sensation. Now I am experiencing means whom? Who is experiencing? Means actually the body in which there is nervous system, etc., which is the cause that one experiences some pain. And if suppose say you take a medicine which numbs the pain, then there is no pain. So which means we can understand it's matra sparsha. But because this pain and pleasure is connected to the body, and we think that the body is me, I am affected by it. It's not that we will stop feeling the sensation of pain or pleasure. We will stop getting affected by it, right? Because the body, the vehicle, so this whole design, the Lord has designed his whole conditioned life or human body, such that the soul is there in the body. Body is continuously experiencing pain and pleasure, and because we are attached to the body, we are experiencing the pain and pleasure. So it's not that at some point of time we'll suddenly stop experiencing pain and pleasure. The pain and pleasure will always be there. Of course, when somebody reaches Sarvadharman Parityaja stage and Krishna removes all their sins and then there's no suffering at all. So there might not be material pain, material pleasure for such an exalted devotee. Till then, the pain and pleasures, material pains and pleasures will be there. But just because we are thinking we are the body, we are experiencing the pain. Otherwise, we are something which is completely disconnected with the body, completely of a different nature compared to the body. And this body is just temporary, right? But somehow we just tend to forget this. Mm. 1,000 times we might hear this, but we can't remember this. Only when a conditioned soul accepts the body as himself does he feel the effects of chastisement or praise. Then he determines one person to be his enemy and another his friend and wants to chastise the enemy and welcome the friend. This creation of friends and enemies is a result of one's bodily conception of life. So, what can we do? How can we get over this bodily conception of life? Any thoughts? We have to get over this bodily conception of life, right? So, what can we do practically? Now, don't give me answers like we'll do bhakti, that we are already doing, right? Something more practical, as in that's happening, but along with that, maybe we need to do something. Yeah, Rohini Mataji.
I have a question, Prabhu.
You have a question? No, I want answer to my
No
question.
question related to, if I know the root cause, how does it work exactly, then we can work on. Actually,
No,
everything
but you
has.
know the root cause, no?
No, Prabhu, I can't explain you how I'm looking for the answer. But in one of the texts I read, in Bhagavatam first, second chapter, Krishna is telling, I put the curtain of ignorance so that you can, experience the feelings through the mind. But how does the soul,
False ego,
how does
false
the
ego,
connection exist between mind
false
and
ego,
soul?
false ego. False ego is the connection.
Now, practically, if you see something is connected to something, so physical thing is it. So
No,
how does it
false
work?
ego, because you are connecting body, material, and spiritual, no?
Okay.
So false ego is the connection.
Practically, I can't understand. I think.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking. So what should we do? So others can try. What should we do so that we can come to the platform of actually understanding that I am not the body?
Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we
Yeah,
have to constantly remind ourselves of this. Like, we are
constantly
not this
remind
body.
ourselves. Okay, okay, constantly remind ourselves. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, when we do seva, the devotional service basically, and we experience pleasure in spite of our life situations, we still
Mm-hmm.
derive pleasure in those activities. That proves that we are actually not this body because we are still receiving spiritual pleasure,
Mm.
howsoever
Okay.
disturbing the material life is, right? Sometimes
Okay.
material life doesn't go according to our definition of success or whatever, but
Mm.
still we derive spiritual pleasure, and that proves that this is basically we are not this body, but we are spirit soul.
That we know. Okay. That also okay. With that experience, it gets reinforced. But my question is, what can we do so that we can actually come to this platform, even, or at least we can try?
Mm.
See, there are two things, right? One is, of course, continuously when as we do continue to do our devotion, over a period of time, we will come to that stage, right? But we can also do some things which are favorable or unfavorable to this achieving that stage, right? So, for example, now if I am too attached to the body, then okay, I'll engage in sense gratification. Subtle gross. Now, which will make it more difficult for me to actually come to the stage of the Atma, of being on the spiritual platform, right? So I'm saying one end we are saying, Shastra says that okay, don't engage in sense gratification because then you will kind of accentuate that feeling that I'm this body. Now on the other end, Okay, so what is the other end is renunciation, giving up. Now that's also not recommended for bhakti. Okay, bhakti is not a process where we do extreme renunciation. Bhakti is centered around Krishna and devotional service and loving Krishna and so on and so forth. So one of the things, see, which is why we have to connect the dots. We have to connect various instructions. At least what comes to my mind is Trinadapi, right? Now, if we are actually in this, if we can constantly think of ourselves being worthless, of ourselves being nothing, right? And whenever any situation happens, we have to just remember, okay, I am actually worthless, and stop reacting to life's situations. Now, this can happen only if we come to Sattva-guna, right? If we are in Rajoguna and Tamoguna, we will always be reacting. For everything, we'll be reacting, and I've seen also devotees who are okay on a spiritual platform when they are interacting with certain devotees, and when they're interacting with other devotees or the rest of the world, they come down, they go down to Tamoguna, Rajoguna platform. So which is why they can't their relationship with other devotees are affected, etc., etc. Now, if we want to remain always on this platform of Trinadapi, because that is the practical aspect, right? The theoretical aspect is remain on the platform of soul, now which we cannot get to yet, which we are practicing. Devotion will take us to that platform. But on the material platform, which is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us Trinadapi, which means that whatever, even in my life, if there are ups and downs, I should just consider myself worthless and just think that, okay, this, I deserve this. If we can actually do that, then we'll stop responding, reacting to situations. And slowly we will start to understand, saying that, yeah, okay, so yeah, this didn't affect me, that didn't affect me, something else didn't affect me. So we make progress. Right? But this thing that, I am nothing itself is difficult for us, right? And which is why we have to constantly, daily hammer, read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada is just hammering only this basic. Some people might, they argue saying that Prabhupada has not given us, higher philosophy. Our position right now is, even if there is higher philosophy in Prabhupada's purpose, which it is there, we can't locate it also. Because we are so far away from that higher platform. And Prabhupada knew this, whom he was presenting these books for. He knew that they won't be able to understand these things, right? But our acharyas, they were actually, their target audience were different. Their target audience were Paramamsas, elevated souls, right? But Prabhupada's target audience are all of us, fallen, conditioned souls. So Prabhupada, he regularly, in every purport, you might almost feel like, didn't Prabhupada get tired of telling the same thing again and again? You just imagine how tired, how, for somebody who is in that platform, who would love to speak about, and his ecstasy, Radha and Krishna, he had to curtail all that and write all these things that are meant for us. And then devotees who don't understand it say Prabhupada did not give us what? Did not give us higher stuff. We don't deserve that higher stuff yet. Of course, then he said, those people who will make progress, they will come to that higher stuff. Krishna will give them the intelligence. Guru will guide them. So the whole point is about being always on this platform of being a servant of Krishna, or at least being like really low. Trina, right? We are nothing. We are nobody. Somebody says something, it's fine. Somebody scolded, it's fine. And what happens is, day one, we want to start on this journey, like obviously we will keep failing, but we have to be really persistent. We are doing devotion. See, this may not be applicable for somebody who is doing 24 hours devotion. Actually, I'm seeing that even though I'm giving my 24 hours for Krishna consciousness, still it takes time. It takes time to get there, right? So what is better is that in each and every moment, irrespective whether we are doing 2 hours devotion or 24 hours devotion, each and every moment, as and how we are faced with various life situations which are not in line with our expectation, just simply go on with Trinada Pisunichana. Just say that, okay, just surrender to Krishna. They say, okay, it's okay. Sometimes, when we are doing devotion, sometimes it feels better to be a little bit more aggressive, go-getting types, right? Go-getters. Let's go and distribute 1,000 books. Yeah. So, which is also required. Then there are certain other devotees who are like so thanda, cold, like no fire at all. No, it may be in one way, because their material nature is like that. We might think that, maybe it is easier for them to transcend this. No, but they'll be conditioned in that state. Somebody else is conditioned in Rajoguna, somebody else is conditioned in heavy Tamoguna. So, like this, all of us are conditioned. So, eventually, we have to just think that, okay, I am nobody and surrender to somebody and I will follow their instructions. Surrender to Guru, I'll follow instructions, right? If we can maybe live on this platform as continuously as possible, as consistently as possible, we can come out of this. But definitely one thing is sure, that we should not at least fuel it. We should not fuel this bodily conception, by going too much into, taking care of the body just as much as is required, because it's a vehicle, right? So we shouldn't do more than required. I know it's tough, but this is what at least, in my own practice of Krishna consciousness, is what I'm trying to apply. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but more and more dependency on Krishna actually helps us to come to this stage. Yeah, Rohini Mataji and then Raja Ram Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I do remember 2 points. When Krishna was saying, we have to serve the pure devotees so that, we'll develop the taste for chanting and hearing. With that, we can, come out of this ignorance and passion modes. And also today morning sloka, Bhagavad Gita, I asked my kid to open, Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevayam. So by serving the spiritual master and also, humbly inquiring from him, so that we can slowly develop our consciousness. Those 2 things I wanted.
Yeah, but the foundation is Trinadapi, because Pariprashnena Sevaya, all this requires us to be on the humble platform and in a surrendered mood.
Yes.
If we are not on that platform, even like Chota Haridas, or they're all with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, still they were not able to get over their conditioning, right? So these things that are being mentioned require a certain attitude, which is what we were discussing yesterday. Again, if the attitude is missing, we might continue to engage in these activities for years.
Yes.
But we might not make progress. Right. So the important thing is that attitude, and that's the practical thing. The practical thing is to actually be in that mood so that we can make progress. Otherwise, otherwise, one chanting Hare Krishna is good enough, right? It can take away everything, all nonsense. But unfortunately, we are not chanting at that level. We are not reading at that level. So practically, we require, because we are dealing with the world, right? And sometimes it might seem difficult. Somebody seems to be taking advantage of us, etc. But we should understand, nothing is happening without consent of Krishna. So if we are on that platform, maybe it's going to be easier for us to make progress. See, which is why brahmacharis, just think about this. What is the difference between grihasthas and brahmacharis? Brahmacharis are in this, they are forced to surrender. Because day in and day out, they're under guidance of some superior. They don't have a choice. So they will make progress, not just because they are brahmachari, because of the ashram, because of the system in which they live. But for grihasthas, we are in this independent mode. That's what causes a lot of difficulty for us to make progress. Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Rajaram. Yeah, Rajaram Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
So actually, you said about the uh, some devotees don't have that mode of book distribution. So
Not book distribution. I was just giving an example,
yeah,
saying that
example,
some
Prabhu.
are very
Yeah,
cold,
very cool.
not no fire at all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
uh, I have one question, Prabhu, regarding this.
Mm-hmm.
So Srila Prabhupada told many times that books are the basis for the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if a leader
Mm-hmm.
um, who don't have that fire and is not pushing devotees, and on top of that he is telling that it's not like every devotee should go out and do book distribution. They are having different mode,
Mm-hmm.
and accordingly we need to tell them, so we should not push them. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so if their leader itself is saying like that
Mm-hmm.
and is not igniting that fire within the whoever following that
Mm-hmm.
leader,
Mm-hmm.
so in that case it is definitely affecting the preaching. So some 2 days before I was just hearing in Guru Maharaj lecture that
Mm-hmm.
if the process is affecting the preaching movement,
Yeah.
we should always raise our voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it will be Vaishnava Aparad, but we are not offending the person, but
Yeah.
we are speaking against that process which is
Mm-hmm.
affecting the preaching. So
Mm-hmm.
in that case, suppose leader is always a senior devotee. So, for example, if some other junior devotee wants to he feels that this is affecting the preaching and he wants to raise his voice, means whether is it okay to tell directly or he need to tell someone uh, who is equal to the senior leader position,
Mm-hmm.
and he need to inform that devotee how we need to
Yeah, so
put.
various things we can think about, right? See, first thing is, mm, uh, at least my life experience has been that if I have enthusiasm to do something, first thing is nobody can stop, right? Nobody can come and say, okay, you don't go out for book distribution. Number one, right? Now, this thing, so there are two ways by which enthusiasm or fire can be created. One, obviously, the easiest or the most effective way, easiest and effective way is when it comes top down, right? When it comes from top, and then okay, everybody aligns to follow. Now, even when that happens, it's not that everybody wants to align and follow. This is one issue because the personal fire is not there. Now, where does this personal fire come? Personal fire comes from two ways. One is regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books and taking it seriously. Right? If you are regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books, automatically, the fire will come. Or regularly hearing, right? So if devotees, okay, so whatever, right? Assume, say, somebody is not leading this from front, at least if there is a culture of reading Srila Prabhupada's books on a regular basis in a group, right, where these things can be discussed. I mean, that is the whole reason why this morning session is happening, right? Because it's not so much of a class as much as discussion on key things that Srila Prabhupada is talking in the purport, right? And to create some trigger for some thought process, some action from all devotees who might get inspired by hearing this. So similar kind of reading groups, reading sessions should happen in all preaching centers, right? Groups of devotees should come together and read. Now, only if this happens on a consistent basis, can fire be ignited even if it is not there, or even if it is not come down, top down. Fire has to get ignited. The other is process centric approach, which I'm as in the sense that, okay, I will tell somebody, will it change? No, I don't think it's going to change, right? So a more practical approach for me, at least in my own life, has been always practically doing something than, in some sense, saying that, okay, this is not right. No, even if it is, if you say it's not right, because the thought process of every person is different, it might require a complete change in the mindset of that person for him to change and bring fire, right? Because he himself might not have that fire for book distribution or anything for that matter, right? So both can be done, but I think that raising concern, of course, not to that devotee directly, because it's not going to help. Because generally, yeah, those who are been in the movement for a long time, they have very strong views about certain things, which that's how their devotion has grown, and they will stick to it, right? So it's not easy to change their mindset. But if, okay, even if it is taken up to a higher up, maybe don't know, right? Because again, will that leader just change his or her approach because somebody is telling? I don't know. I mean, it seems unlikely. Maybe some inspiration, peer inspiration might help, if at all, right? But the most effective for me is bottoms up, right? When without any help or any direction from top, if the devotees themselves become ignited with the fire, and how Prabhupada can ignite that fire, right? So we just regularly read Srila Prabhupada's books, discuss in groups, and keep, reminding ourselves, saying that Prabhupada is saying this, Prabhupada is saying this, Prabhupada is saying this. That fire can get ignited without actually coming from top, right? So
Okay, Prabhu, one more query, Prabhu.
yeah,
Suppose you told that that should come from bottom, and even if, devotee should not, he should go and do book distribution without. I mean, if he is really enthusiastic.
yeah.
So, one more question. Suppose if a devotee went outside and he did book distribution, and due to that, some new people came in contact with that devotee.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meanwhile, if the leader comes in middle, and if he told without informing the devotee that you attend my sessions, and
No, that's a
suppose
different
if that
discussion. That's
devotee
a
is one second, Provis. If that devotee is telling something, and if it is like in the middle, this is not needed right now, and it will come slowly like that. If they are going in that path, then what should do, Prabhu?
No, so that's a different discussion. It's not connected to our topic, that we can discuss offline. Okay, so
Okay.
right now, the whole point I'm trying to make is that we were coming from this point of condition, being on the condition platform, and how to bring ourselves, as grastas day in day out. We are steeped in this bodily consciousness. How do we pull ourselves out? Is basically surrender, and this Trinadapi mood, which is what is going to help us. And for devotees who are serious about going back to Godhead, serious about Krishna consciousness, they have to be concerned. They should be reading Srila Prabhupada books and be concerned if they are not able to come up to the expectation of Srila Prabhupada. Because we have to remember, saying that this is the mold of the devotee that Prabhupada wants us to become, right? And why that mold is, because that's the most ideal situation to be in to actually achieve perfection in this life. Now, any other mold which is not completely in line with what Prabhupada has given is not going to be perfectly conducive, right? So there might be some kinks here and there. So the more we stick to read Prabhupada's purports and try to apply these things in our life more in a more serious way, we will be able to make progress. Now, the only thing that prevents us from actually being able to apply these, of course, apart from organizational challenges, is our own desire to do, and our own false ego, right? Which is what this verse is saying, that false ego means what? Considering that I am this body. Now, till we give up this, I am not this body business, we cannot really make progress, because that is the platform on which we can be Trinadapi. And without being Trinadapi, we can't make progress. We know this, right? So the practical interconnection or the meeting point junction seems to be this Trinadapi. So somehow or the other, even though we don't seem to, even if we don't understand, saying that I'm not this body, as long as we are able to just develop this one quality of just being humble, considering that others are more qualified than me, it might help us to actually overcome this bodily conception. Now then there are so many other challenges because we are in an institution called ISKCON, and we will have challenges, and there are always, and nothing is a roadblock. Everything is a challenge to bring us closer to Krishna. Nothing is a permanent obstacle. And Krishna has his own ways to teach us through different situations. So we should take it more constructively, and that's a separate problem statement discussion. But yeah, the point is that we should not remain on this me mind platform. That we should willingly not want to remain on that platform. Unfortunately, we willingly remain on that platform, saying that me mind, and keep worrying about our body, our material situation, our various material things, which we should not. If we have so much time, we should utilize it in reading Srila Prabhupada's books, distributing books, or doing some useful service in ISKCON, in Krishna consciousness. Okay, if there are any questions on this, I'll otherwise, anyway, we are almost timed out. What is there next to us? Yeah, actually, let me read this also. It's also connected to this. Because of the bodily conception of life, the conditioned soul thinks that when the body is annihilated, the living being is annihilated. See, this is our problem, right? We think that, oh, the body, something happens to the body, I'm gone. Oh, body is going to be destroyed, I'm going to be destroyed. This is our problem. This is the cause for fear. Bhayam ditya binivesha tasyat. Right? This is because we are thinking of this duality, saying that, so we are thinking of the body is gone, I am gone. Lord Vishnu is the supreme controller, super soul of all living entities, because he has no material body. He has no false conception. So this false conception is false ego. It is therefore incorrect to think that he feels pleasure or pain when blasphemed or offered prayers. It is impossible for him. Thus he has no enemy and no friend. When he chastises the demons, it is for their good, and when he accepts the prayers of the devotees, it is for their good. He is affected neither by prayers nor by blasphemy. So, see, somebody who is on this platform, and not only the Lord, even his pure devotees, they consider this, the behavior of the person who is standing opposite to us. Right? A pure devotee sees that person's behavior as detrimental to that person's progress, not affecting me. So, for example, somebody shouted at a pure devotee. The pure devotee is thinking, oh, this independent bad nature of this person is going to take that person to hell. So I have to help him. Right? So, of course, the Lord has the power, so he chastises. He gives them punishment. But a devotee will be merciful, and somehow he will try to bring that soul into Krishna consciousness, even though he might have shouted at him. But personally, neither the Lord nor a pure devotee is affected by prayers or blasphemy. Pure devotee, no, we are affected, right? We are affected. Oh, somebody is glorifying us. Oh, we feel so great, so nice. Somebody is scolding us or talking ill of us. We feel, how can they do this to me, this, that, and all that? Why? Because we are on the bodily platform. A pure devotee and Lord, both of them are not on this. They are not affected by this. But they look at this from the perspective of the person's progress, right? And Lord chastises the demons for their good and accepts the prayers of the devotees for their good. So they always think about the good of the people involved. It's very, very important, right? And we cannot come to this till we are stuck in this conception of I and mine. Because of being covered by material bodies, the conditioned souls, including even greatly learned scholars and falsely educated professors, all think that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. This we have to remember. Nothing is finished. We are the soul. We will remain. We will, either we achieve perfection, go to the spiritual world, or get a spiritual body, or we'll get another material body. Nothing is lost. This is due to their bodily conception. Krishna has no such bodily conception, nor his body is different from himself. Therefore, since Krishna has no material conception, how can he be affected by prayers and accusations? Krishna's body is described here with as Kaivalya, not different from himself. Since everyone has a material bodily conception of life, if Krishna had such a conception, what would be the difference between Krishna and the conditioned soul? Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita are accepted as final because he does not possess a material body. As soon as one has a material body, he has 4 deficiencies. But since Krishna does not possess a material body, he has no deficiencies. He's always spiritually conscious and blissful. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Eternal blissful knowledge. Sachidananda Vigraha. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Kaivalya are the same. Krishna can expand himself as Paramatma in the core of everyone's heart. This is confirmed. Kshetragnam Chapi Meya Mam Vitti Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. I'm there in every kshetra, meaning body. Therefore, it must naturally be concluded that he has no defective bodily conceptions. Although situated in everyone's body, he has no bodily conception. He is there in the body of a hog also, pig. But he's not affected by it. He has no bodily conception. He's always free from such conceptions. And thus, he cannot be affected by anything in relation to the material body of the jiva. So, this prayer and blasphemy is in connection with the material body of the jiva. So, he has nothing to do with that. But still, Krishna says, Tanham dushata kruran samsareshu naradaman kshipam yajasram ashubham asureshvayavayamishu. Still, those who are envious and mischievous, I cast them. They're cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life, because they want it. The envious and mischievous want it. So when the Lord punishes persons like demons, such punishment is meant for the good of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, being envious of the Supreme Lord, may accuse him, saying Krishna is bad, Krishna is a thief, and so on. But Krishna, being kind to all living entities, does not consider such accusations. Instead, he takes account of the conditioned soul's standing of Krishna, Krishna. So many times. So amazing. He sometimes punishes such demons for one life by putting them in a lower species. But then, when they've stopped accusing him, they're liberated in the next life because of chanting Krishna's name constantly. Blaspheming the Supreme Lord or his devotee is not at all good for the conditioned soul. But Krishna, being very kind, punishes the conditioned soul in one life for such sinful activities and then takes him back home, back to God. Of course, this is for a devotee. If he falls down, he will be punished. And through that punishment, he will learn, and then Krishna is ready to take him back home. The vivid example for this is Vritrasura, who was formerly Chitraketu Maharaj, a great devotee. Because he derided Lord Shiva, the foremost of all devotees, he had to accept the body of a demon. But then he was taken back to Godhead. Thus, when Krishna punishes a demon or conditioned soul, he stops that soul's habit of blaspheming him. And when the soul becomes completely pure, the Lord takes him back to Godhead. So please understand, the whole idea of this punishment is to stop this blaspheming. What are we blaspheming? How are we blaspheming? By trying to be enjoyers. And then, we are competing with Krishna, which is also a bad quality. So we get punished. And then there are others who are more gross, who are openly, blaspheming Krishna in words, in actions, etc. So we should understand just this whole thing of punishment is just to rectify our conditioned state, rectify our independent nature, rectify our sense gratificatory nature. We get punished, or our independent nature to offend Vaishnavas, do all anarthas that we have. So punishment is given just to bring us out. And as soon as we come out, like Prabhupada is saying here, then we'll be taken back home, back to God. But the thing is, we should recognize this. As devotees, we need to recognize this, saying that, okay, I'm going through some suffering. Okay, I have to learn something that Krishna wants me to learn. Because if I'm a surrendered soul, Krishna can pull me out at any point of time. There is nothing which nothing else which can stop Krishna from doing that, right? It's his own will that he decides, saying that, okay, this is not the time yet. Why it's not the time yet? Because there's still conditioning, there's still anartha in the devotee. So little more punishment continues. So always we have to remember this fan. Fan is switched off, but the fan still turns, rotates for some more time. Right. So similarly, somebody who surrendered at the lotus feet of a guru, actually his karma phala all ends, but because there is still anarthas, that fan continues to run for some more time, and then it stops. So we should understand that what we are doing, whether it is good for our progress, not good for our progress, which is why we need external help, right? Many a times we see that we are blind to our situations. We actually don't understand, and we just remain on the material platform and we keep on going, creeping, going. This is not okay, that's not okay, this is not okay, that's not okay. But we have to actually wake up and see that, okay, I'm Atma. Now why am I doing going? No, okay, because I'm on the bodily platform. Then we have to remember saying that, okay, so do I want to remain in this bodily platform and come back again, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, or have I any serious plans of achieving perfection? If we have any serious plans to achieve perfection, we need to start today. That we can't postpone this effort. We can't say, okay, I will do it later. We'll see. Yeah, it's fine. That we've been doing for millions of lifetimes. We can continue. Right? But those who are serious about achieving perfection, they need to start implementing it today. Now. Right? Oh, okay, I'm not this body. Okay, fine. What are the things that are now bothering me today? Okay, 10 things are bothering me. How many of these are because of bodily conception? Okay, maybe 8 of them are because of bodily consumption. Okay, I'm going to drop these 8 things. The other 2, okay, they are connected, spiritual, maybe preaching, maybe something else. Some 2 things are troubling me. Okay, that's okay. That is required. So other 8 things, no, just connected with body and me and mine. So I will drop it. I will drop these things so that I will just leave it to Krishna. Why should I be so affected by it? We have to do this. If you don't do this, then yeah, slow progress. It's not that we'll not make progress. Devotion is very powerful. Bhakti is very powerful, but it's going to be slow. Okay. Yeah. Any comments, questions, if there are any? Okay, then we'll close here. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः की जय.
Prabhuji, I had a question.
Yes, Prabhu.